Hey guys, I want to talk to you about the creation story you have not heard before, okay? I've been reading this morning on the Sumerian goddess Tiamat, which is Tiamat is the first, the divine mother that hold the first flame, the first flame of creation, the dark flame, okay? And when there was war in heaven between Marduk and Tiamat used, they demonize it in some of the stuff I've been reading. They said she used demonic forces to go against Marduk, and because they killed her husband Apsu, to create, the humanity, the blood of Apsu that was used to create humanity. And she was split in half to create the earth and the sky, And, but what I've been reading is they're demonizing these demonic forces to say that, there were wicked entities, and they demonize them and whatnot. But in reality, these 21 seed, they call them 21 seed of Tiamat, the lost children of Tiamat, the fractured light of flame that happened when they fractured Tiamat, the planet Tiamat, to create all these aspects I just mentioned. The seed fell. The seed are the divine holder of light, the essence of God, the flame, okay, of God. And the enemy has been, for the longest time, denying our existence. So the 144,000 are the essence that fell during that transition of creation, because the earth was not stable, the heaven was not stable. It was, is very chaotic state, which is, she's the primordial goddess of, the womb, and that, and the darkness where everything that kind of spawned from, and she played part in creation of, she played everything. She gave up Apsu, and I'll tell you what I've read, and I'll tell you what I believe, okay? When I've been reading, they said she lost a war against Marduk to create humanity, and to create the earth and the sky and whatnot, right? And, but when I've read a couple of things that made me think this is might be not true. Might be she gave up part of her to create humanity, and so is Apsu, and so the story they've been told to humanity is not true. We're intentionally created, okay? We were intentionally created. We're not a mistake. We're not, created to mine gold and all of that, You know how many stories have been telling humanity for ages, all full of lies, that are not true. And I'm just telling you because, I've been reading and I figured out, why always they tell black is bad and white is good, They always whiten everything and denying black, So it's like, it's deception, a grand deception, denying, part of God that is creative energy. Tiamat is a creative energy, a chaotic, creative energy that bring change and bring, freedoms. She stands against order. Yes, because order is oppressive. Order is like obey, and chaos is freedom, because she stands against that. She is coming to, to free humanity from this wrongdoer on earth who lied to humanity and told humanity that the light is everything is about the light is good, and they forgot to, God has light, but that's not the light these people have been teaching. They've been teaching humanity the light that you need to go to the light. The light is good and stuff. That's not the light these people are teaching you. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching people to follow the false light, okay, and denying the darkness, which is freedom, and stuff, and so what I'm trying to tell you is these people are been lying to humanity for a long time. Why angels have to be white? There's no black angels. You notice that? They whiten even Jesus. They whiten Jesus. Made him blue eyes and blonde hair. And because they like to do that, they do like to whiten. Even the first kings and queen of earth, they were black. They're not white. None of them were white. Okay. But, National Geographic said all creation stems from Sudan, which is my country. Sudan used to be the Nubian kingdom, used to be called the Nubian kingdom, right? And, but for the longest time, they always want to, make all the pharaohs, white and, Nefertiti and all those, they all, no, they all were black, you know what I mean? Black existed before white. But it's not about the color, but it's about the truth, Why you have to hide aspects of us to please or to cater to the masses? Why you denying one aspect that is very true to the divine order? The 144,000 is we were spun from the chaotic state or chaos, and we're known to bring order or freedoms, if you mean, freedoms, and we're non-oppressive. We're not really oppressive people. We are against oppression, okay? And if you listen to me, for the longest time I was trying to figure out, I'm just not going against the grain, or going against my makeup or how I was created. I am going exactly how I was created. I do not like oppressions. I do not like people who put people in shackles and doing what they're doing to humanity, making humanity suffer, through many ways. The list is very long. Look, the medical system, the health system, the pharmaceutical, the food and the water, everything is done. Even they say in humanity they're living too long. They keep increasing the retirement age. Isn't that sound like oppression to you? It does sound to me, So I'm always been against that. I'm always been against people who sit there comfortably, and oppress others, So I'm not really going against the grain. I'm going with my makeup, how I was created to be, and that's what they don't like. These people do not like us because they know what we stand for. The 144,000 is about freedom. It's about getting rid of all system that does not serve, which is obviously it's not serving. Look the state of this planet. You know what I'm saying? You think it's serving? The illegal dumping and overfishing and polluting our water, air, and food, and look, you don't have to really sit there and, repeat myself, but you could see what's going on, right? And I'm trying to tell you. So the 144,000 is the last seed of Tiamat and Apsu. Okay? When God, I believe, that war, it had to take place in order for the earth to take place, to be created, and humanity to be created, and all living things to be created, right? The chaos is a creative chaos. It's called creative chaos. That it creates things. It has to go through this cycle of a lot of, they call it negative forces on the internet, but it's not. It's a creative forces, chaotic forces, And they taught humanity for the longest time, follow the light and deny yourself the darkness, the shadow. Every humanity, okay, when you walk on the street and you see a shadow, that's your shadow side is associated with these forces that I just mentioned. Okay? Why we've been targeted? Because we're here to end oppression. We're here to end suffering. We are here to free humanity. You know what I'm saying? And we bring abundance. God, when Jesus says, it's not his true real name, okay? But anyhow, when Jesus says, I came to bring abundance, I can't remember the verse, but that's what it means. He came to free. He did not came to oppress, okay? And we were created exactly, and Jesus and 144,000, they have a lot of things in common. You know what I'm saying? We were created from the same, fabric of creation. This fragmented light that when everything was created, that was Jesus created from, that what we, 144,000, created from. Okay? And I find it very odd, people who would defend when you, for example, I have discussion with people about, this and that. They defend it and they roll their eyes at you. They think what you're saying is wrong, and because they're programmed to be obedient. You know what I mean? They're programmed to be obedient to the system that oppressed them. How could you be obedient to somebody who lash you every day? Who whip you morning and night, who oppress you? How could you be that? I just don't get it. And then, it used to bother me, when people like rolling their eyes, they're like, oh, whatever, you crazy, But I don't care, because I believe, people have the right to express themselves. You know what I mean? Because I told you, I'm not an oppressive person. I was not created to be an oppressive person. So when people disagree with me, it does not bother me one bit. You know what I'm saying? But when we have a debate about something serious, you better have a solid foundation why you're making that decision to go against what I'm saying. Because I'm not saying it because it's not based on evidence or whatnot. But do not be lopsided kind of person who believe, this education system they set up to brainwash people to believe lies. Okay? They made up this system to believe in lies and defend lies. And that's what bothers me the most. You know what I'm saying? Everything in history has been lied about, names been, changed and audited and removed, books been look at the Bible. The Bible, how many books are been removed and added? You know what I'm saying? You can't really, if it's a holy book, right? You cannot edit a word of God. Okay? You cannot remove book and add book because it's not your book, right? And then people sit there and defend about it. They say, no, you're not allowed to know how many books out there, Mormon books, I don't know, there's so many list of Bibles, you know what I'm saying? There are many, many, many books talk it came from one book, the Holy Bible, right? So when you edit and remove and add, you are, messing the words, and you messing the messages behind the creation. God is not intended for this dismantling of information. The people who always been the one who change and dismantle information are the one who wage a war on all the prophets, all God creation. Every time the God send a messenger to the earth, which will never be another prophet, so there will be just a war coming. You know what I'm saying? Against these people. But God decided on that, right? But you won't be another teacher coming here to teach these people. You know what I'm saying? There will be just a war to get rid of them because they are being oppressive. If they were working, if the system is working, you think God is going to change it? If everything cohesively working fine, it's like there's no, elements of oppression, you think God will change that? No. Obviously, it's not working. God is not impressed. And then they set up this lie to say that, the planet is going to be invaded by who, right? I just mentioned to you, she's coming, and they're saying that she's the alien that's invading humanity, and they're here to destroy us, and we have to unite together. That the Bush say, and some of the, I can't remember his name. It wasn't the Kennedy, but all of them, same bloodline, by the way, but they all delivering the same message because they are part of the collective, the part of the enemy who working against humanity, right? And this is fact. I'm not really, spinning this or lying about anything. I'm just telling you, you need to open your eyes and look around you. We are not the enemy, okay? 34,000 is not the enemy. Whoever is coming to earth, right? It's not the enemy. The enemy is here. The enemy is living among us, okay? You just, you have not really taken a good look because you've been asleep. You've been, asleep and controlled and brainwashed through the education system and through governmental systems and institution systems. All of that, they were set up to control us, to oppress us, But anyhow, this is a little bit random, but this is why I want to open your eyes to what's going on. Look up the lost seed of Apsu and Tiamat, the 21, seed, children of Tiamat, and why do I think is, there was no war, intentional, not an unintentional war in heaven where Tiamat went against Apsu. No, Tiamat went against Marduk. This was intentionally done to create humanity. Okay? So God given, the Creator, gave a part of his being to create us. And then if you look at Marduk is part of the creation. He's the one who initiated this, but God initiated this because this is how we're supposed to be done. Okay? It has to, he was, Apsu was ambushed, but it has to happen in order to create, It has to come from chaos. Because we all came from chaos. When people are saying we all came from the darkness and chaos, that's what it means. Okay? It means that how, everything was created from. Okay? And then, they dominate, they use the light. The light is, everything is white, no blackness doesn't exist. Even when you mix the rainbow is 7 colors of God, which is humanity. When you mix them, and you get black or dark green or some dark color, it's just mostly black. If you just look at one line, it's more dark green, and that dark green is associated also with your neuromelanin, that dark green. Okay? Does that dark green look to you white? You know what I'm saying? Why, denying that everything that is white, And even Jesus, been whiting out, It's like the truth. Anyhow, yeah, so that's what I want to talk about, guys. And just to open your eyes to what's going on. 144,000 is the lost seed of Tiamat and Apsu, and we are the fractured light that was supposed to be returning to God, and that's why they're fighting us. And the lost seed is not just a light. It's not just a light. It's frequency as well. So the 21 lost seed of the 21 lost seed is also embodiment of frequency. We are frequency that not just the light. So when you do a prayer to bring forth this energy embedded with your DNA, you have to activate all this part of yourself, because we are the original fractured light. Okay? But anyhow, look up all this information as they're just giving you. If it makes sense, if it resonate with you, yeah, leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Okay? Anyhow, so I hope this helps.